Hey guys, and welcome to Market Mania. So today we are talking about the CPI data that's just been released today. Basically, inflation has rose year over year 3.4%. It was more than they expected at 3.2%, marginally anyway, but it's a substantial number considering where we are right now. So without further ado, guys, let's jump into this. Let's have a talk. Let's try and figure out some solutions on how we can protect ourselves against what's happening. So basically, guys, what's happened is the price of goods has just exploded. And the reason is because many issues, and it's complex. You've got demand, you've got supply chain issues, you've got all kinds of different things happening right now. But the fact is they're not going away anytime soon. And people are starting to realize that the price of stuff is going up. And this isn't good news, because the thing that causes hyperinflation is not actually the fact of prices rising so fast. It's the fact that people get spooked, people get scared, and they start to stockpile stuff. They start to think like stuff is going up in price, so I'm gonna stockpile it, I'm gonna stock up on it, so that when it does go up in price even more, I'm better off. And it never works out, because what that does is that actually causes more inflation, and then things just get worse and more out of control as more people jump on the bandwagon. Now think about this, guys. We already had a taste of how fast inflation and hyperinflation can spread by the toilet paper crisis last year. Now you may be laughing about this, and even I laugh about this because it's so stupid, but that spread like wildfire. And what caused the toilet paper crisis was not fear of running out of toilet paper. It was purely people's psychology. There was people stockpiling it, literally stockpiling it. You saw it on the news and all different other kinds of things. There was fights breaking out in the grocery store. And we saw this across the world. And that is just a scary reminder of how quick hyperinflation can actually spread, how quick inflation can suddenly turn into hyperinflation. So what do I think is gonna happen? Well, basically, I think that the Bank of Canada is going to have to act pretty soon, and it won't act in the next quarter. It will probably try and leave it until last minute, which will be Q4, because we'll have another quarter of inflation, which will just send it even higher, and then they'll have no choice but to raise the interest rates. And people will literally be crushed by it, because so many people have took out home loans, car loans, and all kinds of debt during the pandemic, thinking that interest rates are going to remain low. And I have this underlying feeling that we're going to end up in a scenario where they're increasing interest rates a lot. People are going bankrupt and getting foreclosed on their homes because they can't afford the payments anymore, but they have to do it because the inflation is so out of control. And that is literally the world that we're living in right now. And it's just kind of crazy to think what is happening. But, you know, there are some ways that you can sort of hedge against inflation, although it's difficult right now, because I wouldn't advise anybody to go buy silver because it's right at an all-time high. And I never say to people, buy at an all-time high. I just think that's stupid. And the same with like the likes of gold and other stuff. But if you can actually buy the asset itself, like gold jewelry or silver jewelry, for a good price, then I suggest you do it. And I definitely suggest that you just have that, because the thing is, inflation is going to dwindle down our money. Because basically what inflation and stagnation mean, because we have this thing called stagnation now, which is essentially where the economy isn't doing anything, jobs and unemployment isn't doing anything, they're going down slightly, and then you've got inflation going up. And when you have that kind of market recipe, it ain't good. It really is not good, because that means people's cash flow is going like this. It's going down every single month. Yet you wouldn't believe that when you go and look at how people are spending and overextending themselves on houses and stuff like that. But it's a kind of crazy time here in Canada because you've had all the financial institutions here come out and say, please, government, put some regulations in to put the brakes on this housing market. Now that is surprising because, you know, they make so much money out of creating these bonds from the mortgages that they sell to you when you buy a home. And they make that interest, which then gets passed on to their investors. And that is a big money-making machine for the banks. So them actually going against that and saying, hey, put the brakes on this market is kind of slightly worrying. And I said to my girlfriend when that first started happening, I said, that is really, really worrying for real estate because the banks are the ones that see your credit score. They're the ones that see your income. They see it all. And what the news media companies, they don't have a clue. Just remember this, guys, and I always am going to be saying this in my videos. Don't believe anything you read in the news because they just try and create a story. They try and make a rhyme out of nothing. And it's all bullshit most of the time. But with this compression of everybody's cash flow, it means people are going to have less cash. People are going to be spending less. And the thing is, no matter which way we go now, we are stuck. I mean, if we go the inflation route where they keep inflation really high and then they keep interest rates really low, what we're going to essentially have is, again, people's cash flow eroded by inflation, or they're going to increase interest rates and most people's cash is going to be eroded by interest rates. And most people, when I say most people, I don't really mean most people. I mean the people that bought during this pandemic, people who overextended themselves, people who are over leveraged on multiple properties. Those are going to be the ones that pay the price. And we've already seen, you know, lumber, Bitcoin, all these different asset classes and even real estate, which is now showing signs that it's peaked. It's showing signs that it's peaked. I mean, crypto at one point was down over 20% across all of them this morning. And there's been a kind of slight recovery since then of about 10%, but they're still sitting at a new low. When you look at the chart, it just looks like it's about to go down. And the thing is, real estate takes time to catch up because real estate is a lagging factor, it always is. Like, people seem to forget all the bad times because like 30 years ago, there was a crash in real estate in Canada. People forget that. And they also forget the fact that last year, it was looking like Canada was gonna head into a recession around Q2 of 2020. And because the Q4 2019 was abysmal for Canada. And it was just like, you know, and it was a multiplier of many different things that were causing that. Weak oil prices and just a weak economy in general caused by the real estate boom. Because basically when you have people sucking all their cash into real estate, it doesn't really do anything. Like, real estate doesn't really generate anything for the economy. And the thing is, we were seeing this spike before the pandemic. Toronto home sales hit all-time high price in February of 2020. You can look that up. And basically that just goes to show this was before the pandemic. This was before the pandemic hit. So it was already starting the last run, I think. And basically what we've had is the pandemic hit, and then that has just caused it to occur later on. And now it's happened, and now we've got this gigantic stretch, and it's spread across the whole entire country, which just has bubble written all over it. But people are gonna think, well, yeah, everyone's working from home. Like, they try and make a narrative of it that makes people think, oh yeah, that makes sense, that makes sense. A lot of the time that doesn't make sense. And that's the reason I created this channel, is because I'm so sick of seeing media article after media article after media article, which is pumped out to mislead people and to just get people to click it. And people need to know the truth of what's going on. And there's another guy that I follow, and I think me and him are very similar in our mindset. And he's called the Economic Ninja. I'm gonna link him in the description below. He's great and he covers stuff in the States more, but we're seeing very much the same things here. And me and him, we're on the same wavelength essentially. And you should listen to a lot of what he has to say, because his stories, they're very meaningful, and he talks about the different cycles, and you will hear the signs and the signals, and everybody needs to know about this. So in the next video, we're going to be a more productive video, but this video, I just wanted to kind of introduce you to the channel and talk about this news that came out today, because I believe it is very, very interesting, very, very interesting news for the economy going forward. So anyway, guys, please smash that like button. Please comment on this video. This is a new channel, so literally every smashy helps. And if you made it this far, thank you so much. Please subscribe to the channel if you're interested in this kind of real content. And I will see you in the next video, guys. Take care. Peace and love. Bye.